What's up, YouTube? Hope you're all doing well during this lovely pandemic that we're enjoying, but not really enjoying. I'm your friendly neighborhood comic book dude. Sorry, this episode's been a little later than I like normally. You would think that being cooped up at home, you'd have more free time. It's not always the case. My day job is considered essential, so I haven't been able to do as much recording as I'd like. But I do still have stuff to show you guys this week. Before we get too into stuff, couple things first. First things first, we actually had some people do the lovely commenting to get a free poster. For anybody who doesn't remember, this week's free poster was the lovely Spider-Gwen that was hanging up behind us last week. So when we actually have more than 2 people, I will come up with more elaborate ways to randomize this. But for now, we only had 2 people comment this week, the proper way. Who did I have? I had Director CM, and we had MLB 315. So for you guys, let's see. Director, you're going to get odds on this lovely D20, and MLB 315, you're going to get evens. And whoever, wins this, I will ship this to you free of charge. I'll reach out to you after the video and get that to you. So we had a 4. So that means MLB 315, you got a Spider-Gwen poster coming to you. And for anybody else who wants to enter themselves into some free giveaways, I will say I'm, very sanitary. I will do my best to make sure the posters that I send out to you guys are the same way, so you're not catching anything. I don't have anything that I know of, but none of us really know until you're tested, right? But next week's poster is Year of the Villain Infected, for anybody who's a fan of the Joker who laughs there, or the Batman who laughs. So there's that. The way you can get that, if you're a new watcher, you comment on the video in numerical order, and we'll select somebody from at random, right? So more people, more chances to win, or, you same guys can just keep cycling through and getting some posters. Either way, just, appreciate the support. I will also say that we definitely had some more stuff coming into this video originally, but I did start a Patreon for this, if you didn't catch that on the last one. The link for that is in the description, and the Patreon holders get a day in advance to see the stuff before you guys. So there are some things that we already don't have, and I will run you through what you guys missed. And if you're interested, it's super low. It's $1 a month to get the early access, and the Patreon's just going to better equipment and things like that for these lovely videos for you guys. So for anybody that's a fan of Sideshow, think the very articulated, very high-end statues. The same company, they actually weren't always, they're not like a lot of some of these other license-based companies where they just came out of nowhere and started making things. Sideshow actually used to do prototypes for a lot of the big toy companies. So like Mattel, they would actually send the prototypes for what Mattel would end up making to be the final version for some of their toys. And then they struck out on their own in 94. Yep. But before they started like doing all their like high-end statues, they actually started with a line of action figures. They were 8-inch action figures. The very first line of figures they did, they did have 5 series of them as they were coming out with other things, but they were Universal Monsters action figures. And we had this week, I had Series 4 and Series 5 of those. They didn't even last a day. But yeah, so there was Phantom of the Opera, there was Bela Lugosi Dracula, there was Mole Man, there was Igor, there was the Werewolf of London, and there was the Son of Frankenstein. Those are considered Series 4 and 5. They did a total of 5 series with 3 figures in each series. So yeah, in the future, if you want to get some early access on some of these videos, hop on the Patreon. You might get a chance at those. The whole set of that went for $300, is what we sold it for. I can only guess that the retail was probably somewhere like 20 at the time when they came out, so they definitely went up in value. There was one other thing before I actually start giving you guys stuff on camera. There was 4 Living Dead dolls this week also, and 2 of those did not make it to the video. The ones you guys won't see today is there was a Psycho, Norman Bates, all done up, as his mama. And we also had Billy from Saw. And the pair of those went for $120. So, but you guys are probably tired of me drawing about what's not here, and you probably want to see what is here, right? So let's start with what you already know. You got Living Dead dolls. So we have 2 more Living Dead dolls, and one of these I believe didn't sell because it's harder to come by. Oh, I'm sorry, I misspoke. We do still have Billy from Saw. Beautiful one of these lovely Living Dead doll presents. What we didn't have, which has Saw in the name, was Leatherface. Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw and Psycho were what did not make it to you guys today. But yeah, so we have Billy from Saw, and the other one which didn't go, and I don't think it's from lack of interest, but more because it is kind of pricey. It went for about $200 the last sale that I saw of it. Most likely because this individual has passed away, and it was from, a franchise of things that people very much enjoy, was a Captain Spaulding, House of a Thousand Corpses, Living Dead doll. He probably won't go for quite that much, We're always trying to hook you guys up with the deals. Probably over 100, but not 200. So there's that. And then Billy here is a little bit more, I won't say easy to come by, but he's not as rare as Captain Spaulding, and you'll probably see him in the 60-70 range. There's those 2 for you. All right, what else do we got? Oh, these are quite a treat. These I love. So, the next thing I got for you guys, a little bit of background before I share these with you. We've had a lot of stuff from Mezco and NECA, and, if one were to look at the action figure doll companies when it comes to collectibles, I almost want to say that there were three big names. I mean, there's tons of names, but these 3 seem to be pretty synonymous. There was Mezco, there was NECA, and then there was Mego. So for any of you guys that aren't familiar with Mego is actually a little older than the other 2. But Mego also didn't outlast the other 2, because obviously we still have NECA, we still have Mezco. Mego started in the 50s. It was like a dime store toy. You'd be able to pick them up at the pharmacy and things. And I mean, they did have licensed material, but they weren't licensed exclusively. They had other things that were made up figures, and they were just stuff that kids could get. And, over time, they became more well known for a series of superhero figures related to DC. In fact, if you ever come across those, heck, if we ever come across those here, those go for a pretty penny. They're not easy to come by, or not as easy to come by. So Mego, unfortunately, in the 80s, 1984, went bankrupt. And that leads me to what we've got next here. In 2018, Target decided to revive Mego, so to speak. There was an individual here. His name was Marty Adams. On the back of these lovely new Mego figures, it actually says, he relaunched them. He actually is the son of the original founder of Mego, and he partnered with Target starting in 2018 to start bringing out like a new line of Mego figures. And these ones, although they have the like trademark Mego logo, are actually Marty Abrams Presents Mego. And you know, they've got like the designs that are similar to those Mego figures back in the day. I would say the quality is better now, probably 50% because they're being partnered with Target, who can, you know, get the level of quality that a big company can make. But also just because of the times, you know, 2018 versus 1950, you know, the quality of products, the ability to refine these things, these toys, these collectibles has come a long way. So not to knock the originals, you know, in a lot of cases it's the other way around, where the original's better than the new thing. But enough of me jawing, right? You want to see these. So yeah, we've got some horror ones today. We've got an Invisible Man. What else do we got? We have a Nosferatu. So as you can see, these are kind of across the horror spectrum. They're not limited to Universal per se. I mean, you know, Nosferatu is definitely not Universal. Another leap and bound here. We got Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street. And a lot of these are limited number too. If you notice here, they have a little sticker on them, and they sometimes tell you what they're out of, sometimes they don't. This one says 5,272. What I've come to notice is a lot of them are out of 10,000. So, I mean, there is a limited number of them at the moment. But also something to keep up with if you're a fan of these figures and you maybe didn't know. There are some versions that have no number on them, and those are like a variant, essentially. Those, for some reason, go way higher, because it's like, oh, this is, you know, this has no number. It's like it doesn't exist. I don't know. I've seen some of the same versions of some of these figures when they've got like the no number in their tag for like 5 times the price. And then the last one is Face of the Screaming Werewolf. Little like classic werewolf action there. Nice little art decal from the movie. Price-wise, these things, I haven't actually looked to see what these go for if you're getting them in the retail environment. From us, you're probably going to see them for about $15. I've seen them up or down from there a little bit, not by much. But I think 15 is the lower end of what I've seen these selling for. So, but yeah, I mean, I guess in theory, if these things were to go up, you know, because of the fact that they're limited number, now's the time to get them when they're cheap. All right, what do we got? What else do we have today? Ooh. So, we got another lovely company here today that reminds me a lot of Hot Toys, in that they're made in the same environment as Hot Toys. They're from Hong Kong. The name of this next company is called Star Ace. I don't know if you can see. I'm sort of hiding him over here, but not really. He's a 1/6 scale son of Dracula, you know, or not son of Dracula, sorry, Scars of Dracula from Hammer Films there with our guy, Christopher Lee. All the accessories, everything's still intact. He's got multiple heads, you know, knife, sword, hands, everything you need to make Dracula be all he can be. But yeah, Star Ace is based out of Hong Kong in the same way that Hot Toys is. The way the packaging looks, you know, there's not like a confirmed, you know, answer on this, but I given the fact that they came after Hot Toys, I almost want to say that they sprung up as competition, realizing that, like, hey, shit, there's a lot of call for these high-end, not replica per se, but, you know, these high-end pieces that are based on properties. Oh, we got a visitor. Chance, what are you doing here, buddy? No, you're not a collectible. You're not for sale. Well, you're a collectible for me, but... Where were we? The one thing about Star Ace, that's what I was going to say. So they do make other licensed things, horror, things like that, different movie stuff in the way that Hot Toys does. But the thing that distinguishes them specifically from Hot Toys is they have a particular set of figures that they are known specifically for, which are Harry Potter. They've done a lot of characters from Harry Potter, with this level of articulation and scale. So for those Harry Potter fans out there, that's likely what's keeping them in business. This guy's going for about $200 on the open market. Actually, the range I found from him is $200 to $265. So $200 is the low end. You're gonna, we'll have him somewhere between like $100 and $200. So, almost $115 less than if you got him at the worst price you could get him. But yeah, great for any lovers of Christopher Lee and horror, Hammer, things like that. So there's that. What else do we have? Oh, man. It's kind of a short week after we lost some of that stuff. Not lost, but you know what I mean. Pre-sold it. So in one of our last videos, I don't know if it's the last one of the video before, but we had a Real Action Heroes Hit Girl figure from Kick-Ass 1. So we've got the next succession figure of that. It's Hit Girl again, but this is from Kick-Ass 2. So, it's, again, nice, high quality, all these lovely points of articulation, all the accessories, things like that. They went to a lot of lengths to make sure she looked exactly like the actress. So, this... And let's see. This I had a hard time finding a price for, but you'll probably see this one for under $100. From me anyway. I don't know about on the open market. I couldn't find any sold, to be honest with you. I found a handful for sale with ranges above $100, but unfortunately I'm not going to go buy unsold, just listed prices, because anybody could list something for anything. So there's that. And alright, yeah, one more piece for today. So we've got this is another one it's very similar to a piece we already had, but different character. So we had 18-inch NECAs before. We had the Friday the 13th remake Jason. Although that one couldn't talk, mostly because Jason doesn't talk. But here for you Silence of the Lambs fans, we got a talking, well, not really walking, but we got ourselves an 18-inch talking Hannibal Lecter from NECA Real Toys. It's got a little bit of box wear on it, but other than that, the figure's never been opened. He's got all his stuff inside. I can't tell. He might even have some little accessories in there. There could be a bottle of Chianti. Not drinkable for you, but something to wave in front of him when he's talking at you. This guy's range was not, wasn't a crazy huge difference in price. The low on him was about 160. The high was just over 200, like 210. So he'll be, under that, probably somewhere between, like over 100, but under 160. But yeah, so that's what we got for this week. So as always, like, comment, subscribe to these things. Get yourself entered into the drawing for the poster, or follow on Patreon. Just check out the links to see where you can get a hold of these things, be it Facebook, eBay, what have you. For any of you fans, for the comic specific video we did last week, I do have a new batch of those ready to go. We'll be doing those tomorrow at the comic book store. Yeah, other than that, I've been your friendly neighborhood comic book dude, and I'll catch you guys next time.